Hello, everybody. My name is Michael, and welcome to Dumb Debates. I have today with me a very good friend of mine named Colton,
Yo,
and today we will be discussing the Fermi paradox. So, Colton has no idea what this is because I never explained things to him, but I will be telling you what it is
yeah,
right now. The Fermi paradox is the fact that we have not found any signs of aliens yet. Due to there are billions upon billions of possibly habitable planets in our Milky Way alone, and statistically, we shouldn't be the only planet capable of life and has developed it. The paradox is the fact that we haven't found any so far. It's um it's named after the scientist Enrico Fermi, and he was a physicist who lived over a century ago. He's remembered for building a working atomic reactor in the court of a squash game, which is like our today's version of like football. If I'm
oh,
wrong, please don't kill me. He made in the 1950s. He made a seemingly innocent remark that had caught the attention of every researcher since. Uh, he said, where was it? It came while he was discussing with the possibility that many different societies populate the galaxy. They thought it reasonable to assume that we have a lot of different cosmic company. But the problem is, why haven't we found it since then? So I brought you here today, Colton, to discuss this. Personally, I think that we might be the only living sentient beings in this universe. What do you say?
I'm not too sure. I mean, the government's hiding stuff from us, so I believe that there probably is another one.
Okay, but clearly, clearly we would have figured found something by now because it if they have because you don't understand how far distance in space is. Just to get to the moon takes about 17 hours, and that's close. That's like direct. That's standing next to us, and relatively the closest star would take if you were traveling at the speed of light 2 to 3 years to get to. That's the closest star. Okay,
Huh?
at currently with our technology, it would take. Let me see here.
Clicking ASMR.
Okay. It would take approximately from for light, it would take approximately 4.24 years. If we were going currently using the fastest maximum velocity of 56,000 kilometers per hour, which is a lot, it would take over 81,000 years to get to Proxima Centauri, which is the closest star to Earth.
Holy shiza.
So, and that's only saying if those planets near that star happen to have life. They would have to have technology that would be capable of boosting them either close to light speed to get here quickly, or that can sustain over 2,700 generations of what we would assume of life. So I don't think the government could seal that. Like, I don't feel like with our primitive technology compared to that, would we be able to keep them in a prison cell? Doubtful.
I think the government, you know how they hide stuff from us. Yeah, they definitely have the technology. They just don't reveal it. Like they actually revealed there was an actual record UFO whenever we were going to raid Area 51,
Well,
and
UFO, Colton,
that
stands for unidentified
just
flying
proves
object.
really
It
high.
could literally be a cheese doodle floating in the sky, as long as nobody knows what it is.
They even confirmed it's an UFO. I know it's
Okay.
an unidentified flying object, but did you see the shape of it?
I did, but again, that could have just been to discourage people. We can never know. That is currently the only proof
Yeah,
we have.
exactly.
The only proof we have
Exactly. The
out
government
of
trying to conceal it.
there are currently scientists estimate there are 40 billion habitable planets that could sustain life and liquid water currently. And that's only in the Milky Way. So,
Uh,
hold on, Colton. Time to pause. And we're back. So, as I was saying, there are 40 billion potential habitable zone planets in the Milky Way. In the universe, scientists, it's not easy to estimate that because what we are seeing far out is what it looks like billions of years ago. Um, Out of the 40 billion Earth-sized planets orbiting in the habitable zones of stars, 11 billion of which are orbiting stars that are like our sun. So that adds to the paradox. Why haven't we been? Because even if we were to go to another planet and they like kept us in a secret area, wouldn't we be upset about that?
yeah, probably.
Okay, so that begs the question: why haven't they done anything about it? If the government is hiding stuff like that, why haven't they? Why hasn't the other race done anything? Clearly, they have the
Probably
technology.
just don't want to start a race war.
So clearly, they have the technology to go to either near light speed or to keep them alive for thousands of years. So I don't see the problem here. They would have no problem. That's the thing. That's why it's a paradox because that's the thing. We don't have any proof, but we should have proof just because of the statistically it's not it should we should not be the only organisms that manage to evolve and sustain life.
You never know. There could be actual life out there, and depending based on what I've seen, they're probably just planning on starting a war. As we it the Air Force shot down an unidentified flying object. It looked exactly like UFOs in movies, and you would find in very um zoned off areas. And it would even have bulletproof armor. And they couldn't confirm that it was from this world.
Well, that could have just been the news. But there is one thing that we do know. It says right here, NASA did discover there are living microorganisms like bacteria or methanogens. Um, they are a possible source of life. Methane was detected by the Curiosity rover on Mars in June 2019, and that is a very easy place for methanogens are to survive in. That is how the Earth actually used to survive. Earth was actually did not have an oxygen-rich atmosphere at the beginning. It was mostly methane and other unbreathable gases that microorganisms ate and then produced, kind of like early plants. So Earth actually wasn't habitable at the start, but it just became that way. Again, why haven't we seen any other planets like this though? Because okay, so there's another thing. We can see other planets. We can see them somewhat well currently. If and so even if the government's trying to hide this stuff from us, why hasn't a single out of the 7 billion humans, there has to be at least one who if he saw like I don't know, some lights coming from another planet, he would have mentioned it. There aren't even any hoaxes like that. The only thing we have is that brief radio signal called the WOW signal that occurred in it occurred I think in where was it? Uh August 15th, 1977. It was a strong narrowband radio signal received on August 15th by Ohio State University Big Ear Radio Telescope.
Oh, yes, I know that. I know what that is.
Yeah.
They said it was from a black hole,
Huh?
but you tell me.
Black hole?
How could a black hole make that sound?
Well,
Yeah, it was made by
actually,
a black hole.
there is a science behind that. All stars and black holes do create sound is just a vibration of particles, and black holes do create sound. It's just at such a low frequency that they're practically unhearable. In fact, black holes, their sound waves are literally just the moving of gravity itself. They make, instead of making waves in air particles or space, they make waves in gravity and space time. Here, just for the sake of,
Everything just froze.
well, just for the sake of audio, I'm going to play what the WOW signal was, what it sounded like.
Wasn't it just a click?
It supposedly. This is what it was. I don't know if you will hear it, Colton, but I'm sure it's on the audio. Alright. Right here.
Did you play it?
It is playing right now.
I don't hear it.
You will hear it when I show you the audio, Colton. But for those who are listening, this is the WOW signal.
Very interesting.
It mostly sounds like just somebody scraping nails on a chalkboard or just like a high-pitched siren in a way.
That raises a question.
And if anybody of you says a single thing about Siren Head, no. No. The weirdest part is it ends off with like static, like almost as if it was trying, like something was about to come through, but that's where it ends. It ends right
Or
before.
the government just hacked into it and cut it off.
No, Colton. Because this was received by the University
I
of
don't trust our
Ohio.
government.
This was
I
received by
don't
a
trust.
college and released by said college.
I don't trust the government. Just so you know.
I'm
I don't know if you
surprised.
could tell.
Alright, but either way, that was the WOW signal. Now, if it did come from a black hole, that's amazing because a black hole is
Oh
not
my
the
god,
black
this
hole itself
computer.
created sound. But if it came from another, possibly another life form, it could be an attempt at communication because we don't know if we'll speak the same language. That is why when we sent that's why when we sent Apollo was it, I think the Apollo uh the I forget what the name of the spacecraft that we launched outside of the solar system. We put on it a disk with a bunch of symbols that that represent the human race and where Earth is, and it explains that using pictograms, which
Oh,
should
I
be
remember that.
universally readable.
It just looks like they're telling them to invade us.
Well, yes, that's what it's meant to be. So
Oh, well, we're screwed.
no, we're not, because what it does is, Colin, it tries to show our intentions that we are trying to find a life out there. Now there is another problem to finding life. We cannot search the entire universe. If we were to go at the speed of light, sure, time would slow down for us. We can get much farther because of relativity. But the universe, so whatever object we were inside that's going light speed, time would slow down in. So for us, 1 year would pass, but for the outside universe, maybe a trillion years would pass. That's a problem because despite the fact that yes, we've gone essentially a trillion light years, perhaps that also means the universe is a trillion years older and has expanded a trillion years further, meaning that we are no closer to our destination. Make sense?
Kind of.
What it means is that there is a certain point called the what's it? I think it was called the discoverable event horizon, which is the limit to how far we can go, even if we went the speed of light. That's how far we could go in our universe. It's pretty close to us. We are currently limited to our general cluster of galaxies called the I am very dumb. I do not remember. But yes, we cannot
I
go
don't
far.
even know. You're not dumb.
We cannot go very far in our universe. But that doesn't mean much because we still are in our general cluster of galaxies. There's still a lot of stars and a lot of planets. That just also still raises the question: um, Are there other civilizations? And if there are, why haven't they contacted us? And maybe they did exist at one point, but they faced the same problems we as humans do: war, famine, politics, and all that. And maybe perhaps we've either there's a barrier in front of us that all civilizations have failed to get past and died, such as nuclear war, the discover trying to like make the particle accelerators and stuff like that. I don't really know. Or perhaps we as humans managed to leap a barrier that no other civilization has been able to, such as maybe the luck based event of a cell eating a mitochondria and then becoming a like what we have today.
So that would mean we're more advanced than them.
Technically, yes, but it could but it we don't know. It could either be we are rapidly approaching a barrier that nobody else has managed to beat, or we've beaten a barrier that nobody else has managed to get over. Both of which mean that we would be alone in this universe because all the other civilizations would be either dead or soon to be dead or too primitive to for it to matter.
After this, I'm gonna investigate some stuff and do some serious thinking.
But yeah, so currently the best chances is that we might actually be alone in this universe, and not just because of not just because we're like the trailer park of the universe where any aliens that come here is gonna probably never want to probably going to want to leave immediately. It could just be because they're all dead. Maybe a million years ago, while we were still knocking sticks together, there was a civilization out there that had managed to get develop nuclear energy and face the same issues we did with different factions having nuclear weapons, and then they blew themselves up, and they're all dead now. Like they had a nuclear war and then they were all dead, or maybe another one managed to figure out the science behind figure out enough science behind atoms and black holes, and they tried to recreate their own, and something went wrong, and who knows? Anything could have happened because if it happened a million years ago, we wouldn't know because we the light that reaches us is a million years old. So what we're seeing is as it was back then. That's the problem of space travel, Colton.
Oh,
Well, we are currently reaching our
yeah,
20
I
minute
agree that
we are currently reaching our 20-minute limit. I'm going to let Colton talk for the next minute and explain what he thinks about all of this stuff I just said.
the government's still hiding stuff.
You know this is going on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I know.
If any government people are watching this, I have nothing to do with it.
They aren't even gonna do anything because this millions of people think they're hiding stuff. So why would
I'm
they
just
single
stating
me
it
out?
for the I'm just stating it. So, we have currently 40 seconds remaining until this session is over. What would you like to say to our possible viewers before we log off?
Stay weird.
All right. This has been Dumb Debates with Michael and Colton. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time.